Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Not at my normal setup today, so I'm hoping I can get this live stream to work. So just let me know if you're not hearing me or you don't see the screen here. Let me come back here. Hopefully you'll be able to see my screen in a minute. Okay, good. Yeah, I think everybody can see my screen. That's good. Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and jump into it, guys, and then go from there. I'm not sure how many people I'll get on or not, and we'll go from there. Dogecoin and AMC. So Dogecoin. So just real quick, guys, with crypto. Let's go with crypto here. Bitcoin I have is in one more swing higher, and that's playing out nicely, right? All our basic members, again, $5 a month, got this trade idea, and it is just turning profitable for anyone who took it. So there we go. So if this can push out, that's good. Now with the altcoins, I always look at ETH as the mother of all altcoins. It's kind of the mother and father, of altcoins. So how is ETH behaving? Well, this is telling me altcoins have got a pump coming. Okay, because ETH has five waves off the low Ethereum with a higher high. To me, when I see a 5-wave move with a higher high, that is a market giving me a gift, telling me the direction's higher. Even if they're going to do a shakeout, to me, this would be just noise. So we know the C is coming. So Dogecoin, you pick your name, are likely to do the same thing. Now I can't rule out a shakeout in B. Right, and then a swing, but it may already be done, so we don't know. And if it is, then it's ready to go, like right away here, right? So Dogecoin, let's look at that real quick and see what its chart is telling us. Okay, I used to get asked this about Dogecoin a lot, but not a lot anymore. Okay, we were asked, and Shiba Inu, right? No one asks about that one anymore. All right, so let's take a look at where we are with it. So looking at the big picture, we came down in this extra swing I hit seeing something like that. Let's take again, looking at this, it looks like 5 off the low with 3 back. Okay. Now, if you look at the weekly, you see how you're crossing over? So, but then look at the daily. Look at that. It is way oversold. So it's just like the rest of the market. It needs a swing higher. It's just that daily is just too beat down here. So my guess, I don't know if this is a major low or not. I think you have to be careful that it is not. But I do believe the trend will go higher with the rest of crypto for a little bit longer. And that would put us in a 1, and a 2, and a 3, 4, 5. It's not a clear setup. And then when we get here, the market will do 2 things. It's either going to pull back and break these lows and erase that divergence, and boom, we finish out. Or it's going to surprise us and have a small pullback, and then it's going to go vertical. Alt season that everyone dreams about. So I think the best thing to do is try to buy it in 3. And I think it's in a buyer. If I'm looking at this correctly, it looks like it's a buy like right here, right now. Right? Yeah. So you can decide if you want to take that trade. If you're trying to dip buy it, this would be the area to do it right here. You're in the box. Bitcoin's in the box. A lot, you know. So and then you're playing for a continuation in this impulse with the confidence that you got Ethereum, the mother of all altcoins, behind you, as well as Bitcoin. So you have the king and queen have not fallen yet. So the kingdom is likely to rise, right? I always say Bitcoin trades with you know, everything trades with Bitcoin. As the king falls, so does the kingdom. It doesn't matter how much you love your altcoin, or it's like if Bitcoin is showing a bearish move, lower, or a sequence lower, nothing's going to work in crypto. But when you have Bitcoin and Ethereum showing a bullish move, that's usually a good sign to be more aggressive. On the long side, again, I'm only thinking a 5. I'm only thinking one more swing higher in C, and then a massive move is coming, probably to the downside. And then it's kind of unknown if the lows can break or not on that. Either it's going to come down and break these lows like that, or it's going to do something like this, and then so this will be a lot harder to buy unless we have other clues in the market that can help us out. All right, AMC guys. AMC. Let's take a look at AMC. Here's the thing with AMC. It broke the cycle, which is good. It broke out of its big downtrend. Okay, it broke out of its big downtrend. If you look at AMC real quick, let me get to it here. Broke out of its downtrend. Okay, this downtrend's over. Right? It could be a 1, 2. Right, which means the next target more than likely would be, my guess, if we would probably break 12, we'd probably come back up to like, probably tag $40. I know it's hard to believe I'm saying $40, right? But that's what the chart says. Oh my God, I should just buy it and go, I'm going to be rich. We never do that on our channel, right? So we have to take it one step at a time. So the cycle's over. So as long as we're above 244, we want to assume it's going to break bullish and not bearish, but we're in this connector. So we have 3 waves up, and now we're in a connector, the middle area. A lot of traders love the middle area. This is where most traders love to trade. And when for some reason a lot of stocks are in the middle area, people love to talk about them. But it's actually the worst possible time to trade a stock, in my opinion. So we need 2 things to happen. We need another leg lower to buy it again, right? We need another leg lower to buy it again, like that, back down to like 281, or we get a bit more confidence that it's a low, and then we get another pullback against 332. But buying here is just buying randomly. It's like go to your casino, throw your money on the table, and maybe you'll crap out, maybe you won't crap out. I don't know. I mean, I could put, if I want to label it bullish, I could put X in and make everyone feel good, because that's what a lot of influencers do. You know, on the internet, they just show everything's like bullish and it's great, and then it doesn't work out, and then they beg for forgiveness later. And we all do that. But I would recommend sidelines here and make the market pull back another swing to get more interested in going long, or give you a stronger push higher, and then can get another pullback and buy against this low. But I wouldn't buy it right here. I think it goes higher. I think this is too weak of a bounce to correct this entire move. If you're correcting this entire move, it seems like you'll get at least one more push higher. It just seems like you'll get one more push higher. But how it plays out is kind of unknown at this point. And then if you're really lucky, it will impulse out of this and never come back to these levels for a while. And you can make a bunch of money. So that's kind of what you're hoping for. So we don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be bearish on it anymore. No, oh no. I would not be short in it. Oh, hell no. But buying here would be random, just buying random. And I don't like to buy randomly. So I think I can't even label this because it's just too many possibilities. I think you just have to kind of let this develop more, and then maybe it gives you another entry. Okay. And again, our pro group traders saw the breakout, right? We saw 3, and once we broke 318 here, you know, that's when we were saying, hey, now that you have 5, right? It's breaking out. Now, we thought it could pull back a little more. Well, it didn't. It just went vertical. Same thing can happen here. You just keep going vertical. We don't know. Like, we don't know. But we got the signal. Once we knew that this pivot broke, we knew the bear market was over. That was the signal the bear market was over. That was our signal in GME. The bear market was over. And that was, you know, signal to just buy it. You know, just can buy it at that point on your pullbacks. But now you're in a bigger trend, and you're only 3 up off the low. So now if it could come a little higher here, this is kind of truncated. We could say it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an impulse. That's good too. So we'll wait and see. Let's let this play out more. Anonymous, good to see you back. I haven't seen you on in a while. Solana, funny you asked Solana. Solana is just kind of staring at that chart, and it's in an area that I would just market buy it here. It's showing a nice structure off the low. 5. The reason I like it is it's 5 waves off the low. It's between the 4 and the 2 in the sweet. I call it the sweet spot, and it has a nice 3-wave sequence. I mean, it is just. Again, I'm only thinking you'll get another wave like Ethereum. You're going to get another push higher. I just don't know what's going to happen after that. So I think you have a trade here likely to develop, but then after that, it's like, who knows? Now, I can force the correction over here, right? We thought it would go to 80. It hit 94. We still have 80 in our box here. The problem we have with this chart is a couple things. We have 3 down from this pivot here, and then we came and we broke the lows, just like Dogecoin did. We have seen truncations, but this would be a rare thing in the market to have a swing truncate this significantly. If it did, then the 2 is in here. It's done here. If it and it's just like this WXY, right? And it's just a rare pattern, very extremely bullish setup. But what I don't like about it is that's not typically how we see the market bottom. So what I think you'll get is 3 waves up here of some kind, and it could be, like I said, buy in here 3. Then the market will make a decision. You'll either get this 4 and 5. You get this, and then you know the lows in, right? The lows in. Now, when you get this 4, right around here, it's going to make a big decision. It's either going to crash back down and finally hit our target at $80, which we've had all along. Bitcoin will go to 60,000, 50,000, right? Bitcoin will top and B and come all the way down and break those lows in April, you know, or it will make the 5th wave, right? And then, but this to me is like easy trading here. This is a lot more challenging. So I think we just take it one step at a time. And I think right now we just take what the market is showing us. And the market is showing us this setup right now. And I'll just take this setup all day, and we'll just let this play out. You know, like I said, if Bitcoin the king and Ethereum the queen are telling you the market is going to resolve higher, again, higher high sequence in Ethereum, and Bitcoin also should make one more push higher to get the 5 we need, then all the altcoins should benefit from that in some degree, right? Some better than others. So there's Solana right there. So there you go. I hope that helps. Florence, I'm not sure I recognize your name, but I'll go to this one. AltBG, the blockchain group, Paris listed Bitcoin treasury company. I've never heard of them, but hey, I always learn about new stocks. We learned about qubits on our channel, guys. When qubits, one of you guys out there asked me about that when that thing was trading, I think around $1. or even lower. And we showed the setup, and I was like, oh shit, that looks bullish. I mean, damn, we should have bought it, right? Who in hindsight, right? So you guys find these stocks way before I do. So I like doing this because you guys identify some really, really good opportunities way before mainstream media and everyone else does. So keep those odd ones coming. So the blockchain group, Paris listed. Okay, there it is. Let's take a look at this. So that looks like 5 down, 3 up, 3 down, 3 up. You know, RSI tells you, you see you have no divergence there right at that low. So maybe it's not 5 down. We can look a little closer. I think the best way to label it is to kind of not worry about the first half of the count. Just label it bullish from this point, because that's kind of where it's trading at the moment. And it looks like you're trading in 3 swings, right? So you have 3 up here, right? And then you came down in 3. Some kind of three swing move here. And now you're coming back up in 3. There's your connector. So the question is it over, right? You have to recognize you're only moving in 3s, okay? You're only moving in 3s, which means it could be corrective, which means once this finishes, it may never come back to these highs again. However, it can turn into an impulse with subdivided in 3 as a leading diagonal, and do something like that. So right now you're in that kind of danger area where we don't know if it's going to be corrective or is it going to be impulsive, right? We just don't know yet where the market is going to take it. I mean, if you look at this 4, it could be a crash correction 4. If it goes in a third swing down, it's almost a little too deep to be a 4. But let's just take a look at that real quick. Yeah, that'd be too deep for a 4. So it needs to hold to keep the bullish case alive. It's going to need to hold 245 and make a fifth swing higher, like that. It's got to do that. If it can do that, then you have a new bull market, and then of course you'll get some kind of pullback off of this 5, and then you can look to buy it. So why don't we just label it this way until the market proves otherwise? So until we take back out 240, I would just live. But see, this is only in 3-2, so it's a very dangerous chart actually. So it could go, it's kind of like 50-50 either way, honestly, because it's only 3 up, 3 down. Place your bets, right? Place your bets. Where do you see it going? So this is totally like going to the casino and playing a 50-50, you know. Like, is it red or black, right? Is it red or black? I don't know. So it could be that, but it can also be the opposite, where this is finished a massive move, and then it's ready to go in a 1-2, 1-2, and crash. So I think the best way to say is above 240, bullish in 5, but I can't guarantee a 5. And we don't see signs of it with a 3 up. So in fact, maybe I would be tilting slightly bearish. And if I'm slightly bearish, then that's not a 4. And then you're going to go into another massive corrective move, just like you saw back here. Back in this X here, just like you saw back here, where this move retraced the whole thing. And it could do that again. So I think if that 240 breaks, it's I would be shorting it at that point, shorted pops. Here, I would recommend sidelines, and if you break 240, I would short any pops, and if you break above 408, I would buy any dips. And in this area, I wouldn't do anything, but watch it. All right, hope that helps you. All right, let's go to VIXY. VIXY. All right. I'm glad I was able to get this live stream in. I know I've been kind of not been able to get a lot of these live streams in because I've just been really busy lately with a lot of travel and vacations and things like that going on right now. And it's just been tough for me to do that. So this is a short-term future. So it's like a VIX chart. So our VIX chart, one thing you notice is you see how the VIX is making higher lows, but the market could be making an all-time high potentially soon. That's very bearish for the market structure over on the grand super cycle, by the way. But for now, we'll just kind of draw this trend line, this magical trend line. It looks like to me you've only got 3 up off that low, which is fine, right off of this low. But so that's your major low. So it's kind of like our other VIX charts we've been messing around with. That's kind of W, X, Y. And then you have, we're missing one more swing higher. And the VIX, now see, here we didn't make a higher high. Now, other VIX products broke this August high, right? This one didn't. So normally I would say, well, this is not guaranteed, this move. But we know other VIX products have broken that, opening up more upside on the VIX, no matter the crush we're feeling. And again, this crush could still be even bigger so I do believe we're gonna have a little more separation than we got here so we need another push higher, as I'm thinking. Right now we only have 3 down, so that low has been set, and that's been the low we've been watching, our members have been watching right there. And so that only shows 3 up. And this shows maybe 5 down, maybe 3 down. So if it's 5 down, well, you got to be more careful. If it's 3 down, so it's too short of a time frame to really analyze it. But I would say the best way to do it is, as long as you're above 49.16, the VIX is bullish. The bears are in charge. Oh my God, the bears are in charge. And that's what we saw on Friday. They were trying to pump it and they couldn't. Because they're trying to crush the VIX, but they may be, again, massive headwind because Y is coming to life and they just can't crush the VIX as much as they're trying. And then maybe the VIX just overwhelms, Aladdin, and they blow Aladdin up here. So I think just I'm looking at this as our VIX count. As long as we're above 49.09. Now, if we break that level, it could have a catastrophic breakdown in the VIX, then Aladdin wins. Right, boom, that all the way back down to these lows, or it whipsaws us around, right? In this sequence here, in an ABC sequence, right? And we're still in a bigger connector. We do something like this, right? So it could, but it would be much more difficult to trade. But right now, it's easy to trade the VIX because as long as we're above this high, it's bullish, which means it's bearish for the market. So it's just the way it is. The VIX they have to come back and break these lows here, this May 12th low. If they can't do that, the bears are in charge, and they may pull out the unthinkable. What's the unthinkable? Breaking the April lows. No one predicts that will happen. I mean, some people predict. Actually, a few people do predict that that's going to happen. They're more these technical traders that CNBC parades out. They say it. But a lot of the online guys, influencers with hundreds of thousands of members, they all have declared the market's done, and I guess they know better. And I always say, guys with all these followers, well, if they're always right, then everyone would be rich. But since everyone usually loses in the market, then the guys with the most followers usually get it wrong, and guys with little followers get it right. So I don't know. You use whatever makes you feel better. I think for now, the VIX is saying bearish. The market's bearish. This VIX structure should scare you if you're bullish. It really should. I mean, honestly, you should be very scared. Until you start getting this trend line to break, and more important, that level to break. FCX. So here's the thing about Freeport McMoRan. We really need to get this copper over $5. Okay, copper is the driver of that stock and that complex. Here's the problem with copper. It's jammed up in the middle. Okay, it's either going to double correct down to 360. If it does this, FCX is going to get, it's going to get annihilated. Okay, if this drop happens, we know it's possible because we usually correct between the 4 and the 2 on a lot of these 5-wave moves. Now, what does this chart tell us in the big picture with copper? It tells us copper is going to be freaking expensive in the future, guys. I mean, this is telling us inflation is coming to a theater near you. I mean, 29, 30, we're going to be trading at $8, $9 copper. There's going to be massive inflation. Now, this could be growth. Maybe that's good inflation, but still, it's inflation. So FCX, as a long-term investment, a great opportunity. The miners, all that shit, agriculture, all the stuff that's going to benefit from inflation is going to be great. But the short-term trader, it's tough right now because oil is showing that there could be a little deflationary scare coming here. And this is that deflationary scare in copper. So we don't know where, if this drop happens, Freeport's going to get, is going to break the April lows. Now, if this is done and we can break $5, well, guess what? The 2 is in. And then Freeport is a must buy. Like, not just like, no, it's like you better go buy it like right now, and Rio Tinto and all that shit. Like, you need to go out there and buy those things as long-term investors. But we need $5 to break. So we got to keep an eye on copper. And until then, we really don't know where FCX is going to go. We have to just assume it's jammed up in the middle as well. And because it's jammed up in the middle, it's kind of like just me guessing or telling you happy talk about it going higher or low. Like, it'd just be me kind of so I think, I think I show this bearish view. This would be the copper to 350 view, right? This is what I've had before. But this view can easily be reversed, right? So let's just kind of back up a minute. Big picture, look at this chart. Look at what it's telling you. I mean, this is an inverse head and shoulders that's been in the making since 2006, guys. 2006. This is going to break out in your lifetime. Like, this is breaking out in the 2020, in the end of the decade. This will break out. So at some point you have to say, who cares whether I get it at 38, I get it at 20? Who cares? Because the big picture, this thing's going to be in the triple digits or higher. So I think you just have to understand, what's your time frame? Okay, what's your time frame? I have 5 up. I have 3 up. This is a flat. I think it's a flat, okay? The problem is, if it's a flat, I could say it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's done here in a running flat. And off to the races. China stimulates, whatever, who the hell knows? Maybe all the U.S. the guys are going to come back to the U.S. They're not just giving Trump happy talk, and they will come back and build all these plants, and this thing's going to take off. Or we're going to get that deflationary scare, and it will drop to this $20 area, this bottom of this curve. We just don't know. So I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I think you just watch copper. If you see copper break 5, I think you put the 2 in here, and you just assume it's ready to roll, and you just start impulsing this out. It's just impulse out of this pattern, and you don't look back. If copper breaks down, well, this is likely to break down to this area here, and that will be a shakeout that we'll take advantage of on a massive generational buy on this sector. But this, guys, this is happening. This is happening. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. I got text here. Okay, so that's FCX, guys. So next question we have MLGO. Let's take a look at that. MLGO, MicroAlgo. All right, let's take a look at what these guys are up to. Yikes, it's a go to zero, but we all know those go to zeros can really pump. Oh man, it reverse split on us. Damn, see, it messed our chart up. We had a chart. Looks like we had like another 4s and 5s. So we're at the very end of the move. So unfortunately, they must have reverse split or something. So where's the low on this thing? 111. Okay. So 111, we gap up. We make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'll go with that. So we have an impulse off that low of 5. Doesn't mean anything particularly other than it's a possibility that we could have another swing higher in the future. Although I can't always make these like A, B, C's, and I can play around with the count as much as I need to. But the impulse does, I do like that the RSI in the 3 is not taking out the 1, which also means we probably haven't seen the really big pump yet. You see this bullish divergence here. So it looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, a connector, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 down, and then you have 1, 2. So maybe you've impulsed down. This is 5 down from this peak. Again, I could put the 5 here and make this a flat. So my guess is we'll just say this low has to hold at 118. So as long as you're above 117, like you were saying, you could start to try to accumulate and try and see if you can get lucky, lucky here. And boy, that would be a lot of happy. I'd be very happy if this works out for you. Here you have another impulse potentially, so that's also another clue. Perhaps again the right side is long. Right? And now you have 3 down. And now, again, it's trying to form a middle. So this may have been a long on Friday. It may have been the last chance to go long before this thing really moves. So it could be, if this is the count, that's kind of how I would look at it. So your question is it ready for a reversal? I think so, off of 138. And now this is only 3 waves, and that's only 3 waves. So it could do a shakeout, like just a crash back down, and then run again. So I think as long as you're above 116, I would want to just not worry about this count. You would just buy some here, buy some more, and then at some point just cut your losses and dump it if it. But I think that's the play, and then you build your position and then just let it run and let the market shake, and then just hold it and don't sell it until it don't sell it until you retrace 50% back, and then sell some of it and then hold the rest and see if you can take out this peak with the divergence erasing on a 3. So I think the odds are in your favor that this could have a really big pump. What does this company do? It's a quantum play. Yeah, some kind of quantum, or I don't know. Well, good luck with it. I think that's how I would play this. If I had a gun to my head, someone made me buy it. All right, Holo. We used to watch this one too. It's probably, our charts are probably not right anymore. They probably reverse split this thing as well. So last big pump was right here, and now we've broken down. So we always like to just kind of go 5 down from that low. And we don't have evidence of any reversal to really go off of. We don't have even a key level we can project on. So this one's a lot harder, but we can try our best. So we'll look at the RSI. You see how we got, now that's a pretty big spike in the RSI, resetting the whole cycle in 3. So that's some kind of 3 legs down. Here's our connector. So you have some kind of ABC here, WXY, right off of this connector, right? So you have something, something like this. But with these trending lower, you want to actually probably trend it in 5 waves down. So we'll use this to our advantage and try to do 5 waves down from that peak, like a 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's kind of take a look here. And something like 1, 2. 1, So it needs a few more 4s and 5s to play out before, but this 4 will be a big pump when this happens. And that could happen once this low breaks again. So I would expect something like this. So if I was trading it, I'd let that 5 waves develop and then look for a big move once this is finished. So something like this looks like the count. So we need to let this 5 waves finish, and then in wave 4, 1, 2, 3. Tough to say where we are on the 5 right now. Could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. I think it's probably a 1, 2, 1, 2. You can see something like this, right? There's always a possibility it could double correct higher in 4. We just don't know. I think this is too speculative to trade because it's only showing 3 up, 3 down. It could double correct higher, and then we could be in this bigger 4. So I think for now I'd be looking for something like this to play out, and let this play out a little bit. Let me see here. Something like this. We'll see if it happens. We'll see if it can finish up in this channel or not. All right, Vanny. Never heard of that one. Vanny. That's another new one for me. Let's take a look. A medical stock. We'll have to take a look at the XBI. So again, kind of one of these go to zero medical stocks, but let's take a look at where we are from the low there. And again, just looking at it here, no divergence there. So it's in a corrective move off the low, but it needs to stay above 90 cents. And then there's a possibility for a double correction higher, which would be, I guess, amazing gains. So it's in, again, it's what we call the middle area of the chart. So it's got, right now it's got some, it could be this WXY, right? That would be what you're hoping for, what most people would be hoping for. But there's no guarantee you'll get that second pump. I think you need to stay above 90 cents. So anything above 90 cents, I would assume bullish. So basically that's your key level. Anything above 90 cents, I would assume is bullish until the market proves you otherwise. And looking at the 45-minute, you have no divergence there. So we don't have an impulse yet off this peak. So you don't really have confirmation either that there's a low. So you're in some kind of third wave. You may not get a 4 and a 5. Once this 3 is done, it could come all the way back down and break all these lows. This is a really tough chart to trade, other than as long as you're above 90 cents, there's a chance. But once 90 cents breaks, then this is 5 waves down and the trend's lower, and then I would expect these lows to break and it will just go into the reverse split, cycle. All right. Maui, MOWI. Let's take a look here. So we're looking for one more swing lower. That would be the pivot to do it. It's like the rest of the stock market. However, we're in the middle area. We're only showing 3 down from here. It's definitely like most of the market is in this indecisive middle area. So you have 3 up, 3 down, 3 up. It's literally, we don't know. If it can come up and break 195.7, then it's likely to really ratchet higher, and this could be a major low. Or if we break 185, it's likely this chart's in play. So I think we have 2 possibilities. I'm showing you the possibility going with the trend, but I would keep an eye on those levels and then let that be your deciding factor. Because if we break 195, that 195.9, then you have your 3 in here, right? We would put we'd have to put the 2 in there, and then we would have to call this as a 1 and an A, B, C flat, and then just it's coming out. So I think we don't have enough data to know, but looking at our count, I just would rather go with this for now. But it's really the sidelines. It's a tough chart to trade at the moment. We need to break these levels. All right, let your winners ride. I'll go to your symbols. Thanks again for the super chats, guys. I like helping you out and going through this. A couple different stocks here I haven't heard about. This one looks like it's got another breakout coming. Looks like you've got some kind of 5 waves up with, 3 waves down. So maybe we'll put the 5 here because we don't have a lot of data early in this cycle, right? So we'll just say that's your peak. Oops. Right, and we're coming off of this low, right? Because that's a lot of capitulation right there. So then you have 1, 2, and again, only 3 up. So it's kind of the same situation. That's a lot of capitulation. I don't, it'd be hard for me to see this low break. So maybe what we're going to see out of this is a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. Let's take a look. Or, if you look here, you have a little bit of an impulse. So maybe the 4 is just a tight 4 right there. That's your 4. That's probably what we need to do to label it. So the little different. And again, there's no rule that says the 4 has to look like as symmetrical as the 2. There's no rule. So but the RSI is supporting this with a 3-wave move down, and then that would be a 1, and that would be a 2, and this is ready to break out. And that actually looks like a great long opportunity right here, because if you look at the 3-wave box, it's right where you would have expected a buy, and look, it went vertical. Great reaction. So more than likely, this is the right trend. When you see a reaction and all the alignment and everything behaving very technical like this, it's typically this is then the right chart. So I'd be looking for a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. Looks like this one is, definitely one you want to hold for a while. Okay. BA, BA. Unfortunately, I still think it resolves lower, and despite all the happy talk. With Trump and everybody else, all the tributes, all the nations are giving Trump the biplanes, that whether they need them or not. This is my chart. I've had this chart for Boeing since, God knows, 2023, maybe even longer. So nothing will change my mind unless we can take out 268. So I'm still convinced. Here we have, see that lower low right there? I'm more convinced than ever that this is going to have a nasty surprise to the downside and break these lows. And this is some kind of bearish consolidation that's coming to an end soon. I don't particularly like it. In fact, it hit an area where it could reverse pretty soon. This is an ABC up. Yeah, I know, right, and some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't particularly like Boeing as a long opportunity, but do what's best for you. I can't be wrong. If it's negated at 267, so be it. Then it's going to come out and break the all-time highs, and everybody will be happy. And then I'll give it all the happy talk I can. But right now, I'm very bearish on it. So, all right, and maybe inflation's going to really hurt this. Cost of parts, and it's going to go up, and oil and all that shit. So who knows why? Pfizer. I think Pfizer was a kind of a trader in a trader's area here. Now I think we gave this like one more push down in C, but there was I mentioned this. This could be in this trader's situation where we're still in X, and they whipsaw this thing back up to 32, 34 before they drop it in Y. Again, like Boeing, you only have 3 down and you broke the low. I don't particularly think that this Y is finished here. I think it needs another swing down. I think all of healthcare is missing this swing. I think it needs one more push lower. And I think we'll know very soon if that's the case. Now, they're trying to push this COVID stuff again. There's a new variant going around. And last I heard is Pfizer makes these vaccines. So maybe that's going to be bullish. But I think this is the chart I have on all the healthcare stocks right now. Essentially, this chart. I was still thinking, well, they could still try to do this A, B, C, and pump this thing up, but I'm leaning this way. But if Pfizer can break 24 here, it's really close to doing it, right? 24.08. Then I would be playing for the bigger connector, which means I think it will ratchet higher to 33, 34 at least. And who knows? Maybe this was the low after all, but I don't think it is. What's interesting is on the grand super cycle, it did come back and take out the whole 5, just like you would expect. Here's our 1. Here's our 2. So the sweet spot on this would be right around $20. 20. Did it get to 20? Yeah, it got to 20. Yeah, maybe it's done. Maybe it's done. It hit the sweet spot. It could be finished here. I think once you break 24, I would not be bearish anymore on it. For definitely the midterm and maybe the long term, but the midterm definitely, because I think once you break that level, I think that $34 in play, and that may be enough momentum to carry it out of its correction. So maybe this variant going around is enough to get investors to start buying it again, or they have a weight loss drug up their sleeve. There's talk they should buy Viking Pharma, and who knows what they'll do. But as of now, I'm showing this. Okay, but if I was wanting to buy that, I'd make the market take out that level, and then I would get more aggressive on the long side. EXK. Oh, silver. Yep, silver. So silver, I think, still has some swings higher, but the miners also should be showing something. So we see we had this B and a C shakeout. So we only got 3 up here. That would be 3 down, 3 up, and then 5 down. So really weird pattern here. Let's take a look. 3. So we'll call that a 3 down. So something like that. So we had to kind of shift it around a little bit. It's kind of some kind of middle area, and 3 off of this high. Let's just take a step back. So we have what looks like 3 down from here, 3 up, 3 down. So we're moving in 3s. We're not moving in 5s. So this is the problem I have with this silver, with AG, right? That other silver, I think it's called AG, right? AG, yeah, First Majestic. They all have this chart that looks very corrective without the capitulation layer missing, right? So it's a strange setup. It's a very interesting divergence within the rest of the sector and market, because silver shows like, yeah, it should bust up to like $37, $38. And you would think that would be bullish for the miners, right? So we have 5 off the low. You have 3 down, you have 3 up, 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. So, this is some kind of correct connector. It's got to be. And I think, looking at the labeling of it, maybe we can, again, we'll go back and we'll say A, B, well, we can't call it that anymore. So maybe maybe this will be a lead and diagonal coming out of the correction, and another one too. Maybe it's something like that. We're overthinking it, right? And then it does another 1, 2. Right. This is, and then this does some other ABC here. And it moves in threes, like a lead. This is a leading diagonal, and then it has a big pullback, and then you get the vertical wave that everybody wants, right? So it spends a lot of choppiness, and you have this 1, 2, 1, 2, bam, it comes out. This is some leading diagonal, and then this is just your first impulse. So it's like a leading diagonal within a bigger wave 3. That's a possibility. Or you can even maybe we could do something like this. Even I can play with the chart a little bit and maybe make this whole thing 1 and put it like that. Yeah, maybe we'll go with that. Maybe we'll go with that for now. And then that lines up with the silver, right? Silver makes one more all-time high. Well, not all-time high, but it makes another swing higher. And then like gold and silver, once they make those final highs, it has a big pullback. And then it's off to the races. So I think we'll go with this chart for now until it's negated. But it's very tricky. I don't see a setup. Like I said, I've been watching these. It'd be nice to see just kind of a capitulation shakeout, and we can buy it against these lows. But it doesn't seem like the market's going to give us this. And if silver is ready to break out, which is kind of what we're showing here, right? If this is the count, right? And silver, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, hyper bullish, then there's no way the miners are going to go down, right? This will jump from 32, it'll be $36 overnight. No one will know what happens. And then it'll and then there'll be a big pullback, and then it will be vertical, and then you'll have the dream of silver that everyone wants to have happen, that they dream about, the breakout of the all-time highs. And those all-time highs should break in this decade, I think. But the path to get there, I think, is going to try to shake trade. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's just going to be like buy it here and it's just going to go to like $200 an ounce. Like, I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to jump up here and then it's going to crash back down. And I think everyone's going to lose all their money. So I think, and then they'll all leave, and then it will have its big move. Is probably what will happen. And then if you look at AG, that's the chart I'm showing here, right? That's the chart I'm showing here. Is kind of like this chart here, where it breaks out and then it crashes all the way back down, and you lose all this, and then people just give up on it, and then it comes out. So I think something like that. All right, TMC. Pretty much going vertical here. The metals company, again, we always will just chart it bullish from the low, but we're only moving in 3 waves, and we're in 3. So again, it's only corrective off the lows. You don't have an impulse just yet. If you can form one, then you may have a new bull market is born. Until then, it's just kind of like 3-wave moves that could end and break these lows. So this is again, it's in kind of that middle area that we talk about, and now it's got to do it. It's either going to make a 4 and a 5, or it's going to crash back down. So this could be a 1, 2. We could be 3. We need a 4 and a 5. So we're probably ready for that 4 soon, and then we need a 5, and then the next pullback after that 5 would be the one you want to go long. And if you don't get that 5, if this 4 just kind of comes all, then it's corrective, and then these lows are going to break. But unfortunately, we just don't have enough data to know if that's going to happen. Like, all we have is the data that shows the move is pretty much over on this pump, and now the 4 and 5 has got to play itself out. We can take a closer look at the count here. Maybe one more high in the C leg here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one more high, then you get a pullback, and then that's either 4, 5, or just gonna crash, and that'll be the end. So I don't think the sequence is over yet on this C leg. Maybe one more high, maybe it looks like, and then that's it. All right. Let's see here. BBAI. So BBAI has a bullish move on the shorter time frame, but the longer time frame is still at risk. So don't get all bulled up on it. But you see, we have a higher high again. What happened with AMC when it made the higher high? Right? It did the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. We broke the high. Okay, it's 5 swings. What do? Okay, you market buy it, and guess what? You wake up tomorrow and it's $6. That's what AMC essentially did. And this could do the same thing. We don't know what the market makers have planned, but it may not. It may play around in here. But with the 5 off the low, I'm pretty confident that we will swing back up into this box. Then at that point, I do believe this is showing 5 waves down. So I don't think it's I will be shocked if it can break these highs. So I'm not expecting it to, but would I expect another pump? Yeah, sure, I do, and I think this is some kind of connector off of this peak. Could shake us back out to maybe 339, 340. But like AMC, it may just wake up and it may be $6 on Monday, and you don't know why. And you're like, shit, I should have bought it. So you just don't know. But this is a bullish breakout, and you don't want to get too scared going long. But you gotta understand this. If it's a flat, it could drop you back down to 333 to get you to dump it before they move it higher. AUR, Aurora Innovation. Let's take a look at this, guys. Let's take a look here. Again, kind of coming off this low here. Looks like 5 up, 3 down. 5. This looks like a big impulse that finished right there. So that's good. Now we're in 2. The wave 4 is right there. You've already broke the wave 4 cluster, and you've erased divergence. So that too could be finished. We'll look at the subdivisions of the bounce. And that looks very much like 5 waves to me. So more than likely that 2 is in. And this is interesting. Let's take a look here. Yeah, maybe it's a flat. It's a flat off of this little wick there. So I would call it something like a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's going to come out. So this could be a buy. Just market buy it. Put your stop at 509 and see if you get lucky. I think it looks like a pretty good setup to me. As long as this low holds at 506. What is it? 506. If this low breaks, then it's an ABC. That's a connector, and we would drop. But it would still be a buy. It would still be a buy. It would just probably be a buy at 434, 312. So you still can't rule that out as well. So you're just going to have to kind of think about your strategy on accumulation, but I do believe this should come out of this for at least another swing higher. All right. CoreWave. So if NVIDIA is in 5 off the lows, then CoreWave is likely to pump with NVIDIA, but NVIDIA is pulling back in a correction, I think. And you still can't rule out $70 NVIDIA. So $70 NVIDIA means CoreWave drops back to $86, $80 more than likely. This box here that I've been kind of keeping an eye on. This definitely looks like an impulse off the low, this IPO low. Again, whether you feel like it deserves it or not, or it's a scam company. I mean, there's so much shit going on the internet about CoreWave. But the chart investors can't help themselves and get enough of it. So it doesn't matter whether it's a scam or not. I mean, people want to buy it desperately. They're panic buying it. It looks like the whole cycle is over, like I have suspected. So now, just like NVIDIA, it's correcting the whole move from the IPO. So it's likely to form a connector and fail, but we're in the connector wave. I'd be shocked if it takes out the highs. I mean, that would just be either 5 extends or it's in a whole new bull market cycle. I would expect an ABC, right? We're in B, and I want to buy C. So C is a buy. I like it at this area somewhere here, but I can't rule out that I don't know if it'll do it or not. I just think it's likely to do it, but it does seem like the whole cycle's over from the beginning, right? The daily cycle's wide open to the downside. Like this will need to come all the way down. So it's in a bear market phase. So just get it. I would let's be patient. Let it develop, and then project a target. And again, we'll watch this for the elite members. Watch this because it's clearly bullish. It's clearly 5 waves. It should make another big move higher in the future. Just like NVIDIA will show, even if NVIDIA hits 70 and dumps, like NVIDIA is not going to 0. Like it's going to make another move higher. It's just like, what's the path it's going to take to get there? Is it going to just go from here on out, or is it going to take a big dump? And if CoreWave and NVIDIA want to take that big dump, this is likely to do something like this. We'll buy it. And if not, it's likely to be shallow or even finished. And then it's 1, 2. But if we come back and break these highs, then I would be inclined to label this as a 1, 2, and then you're looking at probably 200 plus CoreWave. Okay. All right. TSLQ. So Tesla is ready to pull back on its big cycle that it's made since those April lows. So TSLQ should be ready to make a move higher. Now TSLQ broke these lows, so that opened up more downside, right? So that's helping Tesla, and this could go on for a little bit longer. But I think usually when I see these lows break, what happens is it breaks and then they rip it higher and then they crash it down later. So this could tell you the long-term health of Tesla would be good. But I think you can't rule out the pump and the crash. Like MSTZ is a good example of how the market did that to you. MSTZ is an example up here, right, where we were watching it and we broke those lows right here, and then they ripped it higher only to crash it back down later. TSLQ may be ready to do something like this here, but I wouldn't fall in love with it. I would understand I am just trading it because you did break these lows and you are not in the box yet. You have to get down here. So likely, I think if Tesla could trade to 280, this could trade back up to maybe $30 or so. So or maybe 25, right? So again, I would say it's got to make its move like now. It can't, or it's going to impulse. So it needs to really stay above 1538. And it looks like it's trying to make that move off the lows and be invisible to traders that don't notice, aren't paying attention. It looks like it's about to make 5 off that low. And once it does that, then you can trade it long above 518, right? Once it makes 5, once you get a pullback, then you can buy it. So I would be watching for something like that. But it's tricky. Tesla is very tricky to play that short. But I think the idea with Tesla short is you're hoping for this kind of chart, and then at 280 the market's going to make probably a decision where it's either going to moon and TSLQ is going to get annihilated, or it's not, and this is corrective, and it's going to whipsaw us back down and break those lows, April lows. So I think what TSLQ is telling us is this path down isn't probably not likely. That's the clue. But our pro group's expecting this to kind of go up, and I would be a buyer of Tesla at 280 and not a seller, just because of the bullish nature of the market right now. People want to buy the dip so bad. So I think, but I think this could have peaked. If it has, TSLQ will run hotter, as this plays out more. So keep an eye on that. But it's a tough one. Tesla's tough because if it does come back and take out these highs, we could be extended in 5. So anyway, just 280 is a big level. I think it's likely to break higher. Looking at TSLQ, unless TSLQ can hit its box and they pump 5 up to 400, and they could pump 5 up to 400. TSLQ hits its box, right? TSLQ hits its box, and then that's a different story. Then all of a sudden the market could support a crash, right? If TSLQ can get to $7, and again, I don't know if that means Tesla's at 400 or what, then TSLQ could be in a much bigger cycle higher. It could be in a big move higher, and that would be very bearish for Tesla. But right now, this is a bullish setup for Tesla because he broke these lows. But like you saw with MSTZ, the market makers are tricky. They love to stop people out and then they rip it higher, just like they did there, and then they crash it. I bet TSLQ will probably do the same idea. Stop you out, rip it higher, trap you all, and then drop it. That's what's going to happen, my guess. All right, this Gresenheimer. Let me see if I can pull it up. There it is. Yeah, we've done this one before. Are the lows in or not? Let's take a look. Yeah, we have some very bearish views on that. So again, if I'm just labeling what I had here, I would definitely say the lows are not in. But I'll try to see if am I too bearish? Let's take a look at why I have it labeled the way I do. I have a flat. So if it's a flat, I can't call the lows in yet. Now, I think we can get rid of that level, but really with the flat, we don't really have a good way to target those lows. Looking at the monthly, the weekly. I would call the lows in if you can come back and take out this $85 level. But until then, I would just continue with this chart. So I would say the lows aren't in until this chart finishes. And again, that could be one swing off. So somewhere down in this area generally, or you need to break that pivot there. Once you break that, then you have to look at 3 swings or a flat, a run-in flat or something like that, and put the 2 in as a run-in flat. I would just keep watching it. Like I said, I think the DAX, right, if this is Germany, the DAX is way overbought, man. So hard for me to see this thing running if the DAX is going to pull back. I just can't see it happen. But maybe I'm wrong, I think this has got more downside coming. And the DAX kind of supports that, right? Because it's overbought. So DAX has got to correct that move off the lows. And that should finish this correction when that happens. All right, next one is Rafen here. Oh, there it is. Oh, let's look at that. Yeah. Yeah, the pullback is overdue across the entire stock market. What's going on with this? I don't have a lot of data. It's very illiquid. Now, we have this labeled, right? It looks like. Where it's hard. I don't know why it's so illiquid. We don't have a lot of data, but I'll do my best. It looks like we are going to start to make a series of 4s and 5s. So the easy money is probably over, but is it going to go higher? It's probably still going to go higher before you can get a bigger pullback. But you'll get a bigger pullback eventually. But it looks like you have some 4s and 5s that need to play out, and then a bigger dump, right? And then another massive move higher. So that's what I see. I see like your 4s and 5s are going to start to play out. And then it will top and then give you that really dramatic pullback. It sounds like you're looking for, right? But like I always say is with Elliott waves, it does not give you a way to predict extensions. So it can easily just extend and erase divergence and leave you behind in the dust. And I am showing a low is in here. So I wouldn't get, too bearish. It looks like you've got the low in here, and that's what we're seeing happen. All right. Roku, that's one we haven't talked about in a while. So Roku, I haven't looked at it in a while, to be honest with you. I need to, the chart might not even be updated. Oh, look at that. 1, 2, 3. Well, I bet that's a 1, 2 up there. So yeah, this is probably finished here at 2 with a flat. I bet that's finished. Because it has to be. If this breaks, then it's going to get annihilated, right? It's going to break those lows. So you have to back into the low here at 52. So you're just going to back into the low here and call this finished in some kind of like 1, maybe put the 1, 2 here, like real tight. Or maybe even here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now see, no divergence, but that's the daily. Let's look at the 4-hour. You got divergence. So it's like the rest of the market, right? It's like the rest of the market. I'll just label it what I see, and then I think the overall market will decide. But make no mistake, if these lows break, it's devastating to the chart. It's devastating to the chart. So you have to, I call back into the low. You have to back into the low. So here, that looks like one cycle's finished here. So it looks like some kind of leading diagonal off this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have some kind of leading diagonal off this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So, like the rest of the market, it's desperately searching for a fifth wave. It may not get it. It may get it. If you get it, great. Then the low is in. If you don't get it, well, then there's a chance this low can break. And like I said, that would be pretty much, I wouldn't personally want to hold the stock if that low breaks. But if this low can hold and you can make that fifth wave and then pull back later, which is that's the bull case of the market, right? Then of course you could be a much safer entry to buy it at 63, and that'll probably be your last chance to buy it as an investor before it goes back to, it takes the path to the all-time highs again. So I think this is kind of what I'll go with. I'll go with this chart for now, because the other chart would be basically a go to zero. It would be this low would likely break. So you're kind of at the point where this has to hold. So we'll go with that. All right, ZETA, Zaga Global. Looks like it's in our buy area that we've had for a long time. So more than likely that's lows in, hit our level off of our connector, or probably do something like that, and then should be building out a wave 3. Let's look at our daily cycle, see if the daily cycle broke. Not quite yet. Let's look at the weekly. Not yet, but it's close. The weekly is very close to breaking higher. So we don't have confirmation yet on the RSI that the cycle's over, but I like the reaction coming out of the box. You see the higher high. That's also a clue that you're going to extend higher as well. So I would just kind of, it could be, we're in this 2 here. It could still go deeper in 2, but the higher high tells me that likely this low will hold, and then we'll come out of this box. Okay. Commerce Bank, big picture, correction overdue. I do believe, like we showed that other bank, the 4s and 5s need to come in. And remember, banks love higher interest rates, right? They can charge more money and make more money, right? So the average, You know, the average algorithm, you know, computerized trader sees that and they think the banks are going to do great, but they don't understand that it could actually be detrimental for the economy. But the banks, I think, initially love higher interest rates, and maybe the economy can survive with them. Commerce, am I spelling it wrong? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so everything pulls back. There's no such thing as something doesn't pull back, guys. That's the other thing, and you're seeing a lot of the the perma bulls, like everything pulls back. Everything ends a cycle. There's no such thing as it goes up forever. Now this is too big of a dip for force, so we're gonna have to kind of just tweak the labeling a little bit here. That was a pretty big, nasty crash. See, that's almost like we got to really zoom out on our chart here. Yeah, that's going to be that degree. I think we're going to have to call the 1-2. Let's look at the RSI cycles and see. Although it was nasty, it didn't. It just has it's a 4. Yeah, it's just a higher degree 4. So we're just going to have to tweak the labels a little bit. So we have this 3, a 4, and a 5. So this one's a little different. This impulse is almost over. We have bearish divergence. So it is big picture. Yes, it is. It is likely to correct this whole cycle at any moment, honestly, if it's still a 5. Now, it could always erase divergence and extend, but we never assume that's the case until our levels are broke. So it's got to break 29.31 to negate the 5. Then the divergence usually erases. So it's in a very dangerous area for it to top. It could top at any moment. All right. Looking at this chart here, it's like some kind of 1, 2, 8, maybe ABC 1, 2. No, actually, I would label it. Let's try to label this way here. Looks like a 1, 2, another 1, 2, another 1, 2. So many 1, 2s, right? That's why it moved so high. People just kept trying to short it, and they got their accounts blown up. And that's a 3, 4, 5. So it actually has a few more 4s and 5s like the other bank. So it's probably still not done going up. But it is probably in its last moments. This is probably in its last moments before a dramatic pullback, just like that one. Likely to go back to the wave 4 low of this impulse here. Now we gotta relabel this to make it make sense. So let's take a look here. We'll label that as a flat there. Let's see here. Two. Have to be something like that. One, two. See, I don't like, unless you counted that as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we have to do that. So again, just kind of looking at it a little bit again. So you have to do something like that. Well, the chart is telling us that high degree 4 is in, no matter whatever our count is. So we have to adapt the count to what the data is telling us. So that's what that is. So that's the count. we could debate what the subdivisions are later, how it subdivides, but I wouldn't worry about that right now. I just think it's pretty clear the cycle's going to end from that low, and that is a major low, right? So this bank is going to do really well in the future after this correction is over. But as you know, this correction can be pretty nasty when it comes. So I still look at it that way. Now, if it can break through 29.28, then it could extend even more. And then our previous chart may actually make more sense. But I don't want to predict something so bullish like that and then have, I think it's good to be conservative for now. I think it's good to be conservative at this point. I think it's good to be conservative. So I think we'll just kind of leave it labeled this way, but obviously people are panic buying these banks, these German banks. All right, MC, let's look at that one. LVMH. There it is. All right, let's take a look what's going on here. So we had probably a flat. It's probably some kind of flat here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd still be looking for one more push higher on the grand super cycle. Okay, so more than likely this low's in or about at any moment. It looks like some kind of flat. Maybe just a little bit more downsides needed off of this. Let's see here. Let's see, you got 5 down here. Well, if it's an ABC, maybe I'm talking myself into something a little different than from a different perspective. Yeah, probably a different count because I'm looking at that first wave down. Looks more like 5. See, that wasn't a big enough bounce to reset the cycle, so I think it's still in the C leg, lower. Oops. So something like that. So it probably has more downside, but I wouldn't think that much more. I think finding the level is going to be pretty difficult unless we use some standard Fibonacci retracements. Maybe we can try that. 433 is one. So you don't really have good chart support here either. So yeah, you're really just kind of flying blind on this. And you have this massive top that looks like just broke, right? So maybe it could tag 404. That's what if I was trading, that's what I'd be targeting for, somewhere around here. Good luck on that. Something like that. All right. Next one is Vonovia. Vonovia. It's another one we've done before. Well, that one worked out pretty good. It hit our box and essentially went vertical, and we made a higher high. So this is the best of both worlds. Okay, we have 5 up. It hit our box, and we made a higher high. So this is a no-brainer here. So it looks like you've got another impulse right there with the higher high. So you could see a pullback off of 5 off the low, but I would not want to leave that position. I would just have your stop at 22.83 and just enjoy the easy money because it's likely to come out in a 3 of 3 of 3. What does this company do? Why is it so bullish? Rental, some kind of. If I read the description, I can't understand what it does. That's always a warning sign. It looks like it rents out properties, like a REIT or something, or not even that. Property management company. I guess everyone's too poor to buy homes, so they all have to be renters. And maybe these guys are going to make a fortune. Inflation, right? Inflation hedge, rents go up, right? If it's an inflationary environment in the future, some people got to live somewhere. All right, thanks for bringing that one up to our community. That's a good one. All right. Next is Novo Nordisk. Oh yeah, we've been watching that. I've kept everyone out of that disaster for sure. Novo. There it is. But like everything, it should find a low soon. Not yet. I got one more. I'm missing one more swing. Again, most of pharma's missing one more swing, but it's got to be close. Again, I can always play with the labeling. Ignore that. That's just nothing. So I'm missing one more swing on Novo. Okay, and it could still hit 76. Right, but as long as it's below 93, it's still in this bear market. So that's a pretty big distance. So I don't see 5 up, right? I see 5 down. So I'm still looking for one more swing lower. 45.50 looks like where we're heading. That's what it looks like we're heading. For the final low, there's your wave 4, another one. A nice cluster of support right there. I bet that's where it's going to tag that. I bet it's going to tag that line, right? Now, you can't, if that's a left shoulder and that's a head, and then you make a right shoulder and that breaks, well, God help this company. Pray for them. But I doubt that's going to happen because that would be a go to zero chart. But this is what I think is going to happen, and then a massive low, and then great gains in the future. That's the way I think. But as you can see, it's lost all this pump, and this is another example. Stocks always pull back, no matter how bullish you are about them. They all eventually come back to earth. It's just some sooner than others, and this is another example of the market, doing that. So I got one more low. If it can move with intensity, it could negate this. If it can break 90, this pivot, one or the other. Like a big gap up, like high volume, big intense RSI move higher than the lows in, or you break this high. Until then, it's in this connector wave. All right. I got a few more stocks coming in. CRV. CRV is Curve. Yep, this is one that we keep in an eye. We had kept an eye on. It's been kind of erratic. Last I checked, we're in this. Still should see more upside, like with the rest of crypto. And then that dump, right? This is kind of the pattern I even expect Bitcoin in, right? Make another high, Ethereum makes another high, and then a massive dump. And then it's unknown. I think it will hold the low. It may not hold the low, but I think that's kind of the pattern you should be looking for. But I think that move higher should be coming soon. And my guess is we should be making one more high here is what I'm thinking. All right, hold on one second. Okay. So yeah, CRV. So I think CRV. Let me draw this out a little bit better here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe that. So could that 5 be in? Could it be done here? Yeah. So then we have to assume the C is going to really extend. So I would be assuming this, and the reason I assume it to go up is because Bitcoin and Ethereum still have more upside. If it wasn't for those two stocks, I would not be showing this chart showing higher highs. And that's a buy area. That's the dip buy right there. So you'll be playing a 3 pump, and then it tops out, and it could do a flat. It could do a lot of things, and then a massive pullback, but more than likely holding these lows here, this low. So that's what I would be looking for. But I wouldn't be too bearish. Only until crypto becomes bearish. So again, watch the king and queen of crypto, Bitcoin. The king is helping bring the kingdom out of its funk, right? As our show's been going on, right? We're pulling out, good. Ethereum, it's lagging a little. Let's look at our other stocks. Yeah, green shoots emerging, right? People are like, oh my God, maybe it isn't the end of the world just yet, right? Because like I said, we're playing this 5. So the thing is a lot of crypto will benefit from the king and queen going into another move higher, right? They're going to benefit. So the curve is going to benefit, right? And it's probably going to benefit in this way I'm showing you right here. All right, something like this. All right, and then you know, the crypto will have this massive drop. And if Bitcoin goes to new lows, this will likely drop to 30 cents. Like if Bitcoin breaks the April lows, and if Bitcoin doesn't, and we've truncated, well then it's likely to pull back and just keep extending. And that's it. So that's curve, SOC. Sable Offshore Corporation. I'm assuming some kind of energy play or something. Like the chart, looks like 3 waves down here. 3, 5 up. So some kind of impulse, right? And a nasty correction, hit the sweet spot perfectly, and then went vertical. So very bullish with a higher high. We always love the higher high, but the market maker loves to run it and then crash it on the higher high. But the big, always remember the big picture. They're just trying to shake you out. That looks like that impulse is over right there, right? And that too could be in right there. So it's possible that could be over. Let's take a look at where we are with our box. Right in the box already coming out of it. So we're either forming a new connector or the low is in. Looks like 5 off the low too. So I would say I would assume the low is in. If it makes another connector, it could always go deeper in too. But these are buys against 16. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if that low's in. Now, if for some reason it isn't, and again, it may not be, it could do something like this, and then you can just look to buy it again or add to your position for long-term hold. I would hold this for the long term. And I assume this is some kind of energy. Yeah, some kind of energy play. And I want to keep an eye on that one. So that's a good one. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. XYZ. XYZ is Block. Okay, Block has not had a lot of luck. It really blew up a lot of chasers. Looks like we made that 5th wave and we made a higher high off of a pullback. So more than likely, we finally ended that nasty correction. Real nasty shakeout here. What's going on with this? 5 down in an A, B, C. So yeah, that B could be done. It has to be done, or it's going to zero essentially. So this is a back into the low situation. So it's either you go to zero, or this low will hold at 44. So my guess is that low is going to hold. It looks like you have 5 off the low, and you're coming off, and you're coming out in a 1-2-1-2 setup. Something like that. Could still be in 2. Looks like you've had 5 up on the shorter cycle. But I would expect to see you kind of come off this high and build higher highs. Real nasty correction. Because again, they were pumping this on the internet, right? And then they rug pulled it on those guys. I wonder if they'll do that to the stock market in the next couple of weeks, right? The stock market is like, when we were here, it was like you were stupid for not buying it. It was going to go to the moon, right? It was all that. And then they rug pulled it, right? They rug pulled it. And now no one probably wants it, but now it's the time to kind of get interested in it again. All right, so that's XYZ, so I would label it that way. And I've done BA. BA, unfortunately, I'm not as bullish on. I don't believe in the company. I don't believe in the chart. So it's in an area, a very dangerous area where it could reverse at any moment. I would, because we have a lower low sequence, I wouldn't be surprised if these lows are revisited or broken in a nasty capitulation, shakeout move, and even breaking this low in the future. So it's a very dangerous area for the next like lower in 3 legs. And again, despite all the happy talk about, and all the, tribute, all the nations are going to buy planes to tribute as a tribute and gift to Trump. It doesn't matter if the planes are too expensive to make in the future. They aren't going to be very profitable if inflation is coming or they can't get the parts they need, right? Supply issues come up. So there's a lot of this could be a lot of problems for the company in the future. Higher interest rates as well. So that's what this chart could be telling you, or it could be company specific. They just F up again. They keep getting in their own way, making stupid mistakes. Putting the wrong people in charge of the company. They're putting more academics in charge. What did they call them, like people that like are more into the theory and not practical. They're just kind of like they're just not clicking for some reason. This company's just not clicking. But I think it's got a big problem coming up here. To negate the view, it's got to take out 268.66, and if it can do that, then I'm wrong. And then this was something else. That was something else. All right. Yeah, technocrat. Yeah, that's what they have. These Wall Street finance guys, and then I think they try to put an engineer in charge of the company, and I don't know. I think they got some work to do. But this is showing there's something bad is going to happen. Let's hope it's not another crash or something. Because if a Boeing Max jet crashes and just one more, this game over. No one's going to buy those planes. They're going to that's over. It's over. And let's hope that that's not what this chart is showing us is could happen. All right, SBET. Let's look at SBET here. Thanks again for all the super chats, guys. SharpLink came in. That's another new one. I haven't seen that one before. Ooh, what a big pump. It really went from $3 to $123. Holy crap. Well, I think you just label it bullish from the low, if we can even get to the low. Not sure who was able to buy that. This chart is telling us there's an impulse off the low. And that means it will probably come back out and take this high out. in the future. But we're correcting the whole cycle. So to find a setup is going to be really tough, but not impossible. So there's your first connector. It looks like it's finishing up that first cycle. So my guess is you're going to get a bounce and a failure. My guess is something like this will happen. Remember, on these type of stocks, you almost always lose the whole wave 5. It's likely to revisit this area before the next move higher, but it's never in a straight line, okay? So there's definitely trades to be made here. So there's a W. It's likely to bounce and then drop in Y like that. So I think that's what I would expect, but it's likely to bounce at any moment here in X. And typically on a pump like this, the X gets pretty close back to the highs. It just can't overcome them, and then they rug pull it, and it just grinds lower, and it fades all the way down, and people eventually give up and forget about it. So that's what I'd be looking for, and then another move higher. So somewhere around 20 bucks. That's what I would be looking for as a speculative trader. Just like, hey, let's throw my money in the casino and see what the hell happens. This would be the area I would like to try to give it a shot in the casino, right around this area, right around that wave 4 cluster, right around that wave 4 there. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it and remember about it. You know, this is one of those just, hey, let's just keep an eye on it and see what happens. It's likely to do this. Now, nothing's guaranteed. It could just move from here. I mean, it's possible too. I don't know like why it pumped unless it was just manipulative. No clue. I have no idea why it moved like that. What's its market cap? 53 million. So it went from a market cap of essentially nothing to 53. Yeah, I mean, back here was probably what, a market cap of 5 million or even less than a million. Geez, wow. Crazy pump. Is it a SPAC or something? No, I don't think so. When did it start trading? Oh, it's been going on for a while. Weird. Anyway, that's it. That's that chart. All right, we came to the end of my super chat. That's good, guys. As I was wrapping up here, let me just kind of read through your comments and see what I can answer. Trade desk topped. I think it has, but if it could take that high out, then it is not topped. It's going to extend higher, and that's actually bullish for the tech market. Again, tech is missing this fifth wave, right? It needs a 4 and a 5 to call the lows in. And all the tech stocks have not done, except for Netflix and maybe NVIDIA. And I say maybe because there is still a bearish pattern in NVIDIA we could talk ourselves into if we're a perma-bear. But I would say that Trade Desk is like all the others. They have not made that 4 and 5. So until then, it is not topped. It could still break those lows. And I actually still show it breaking those lows. And one more low sequence. Yeah, I'll take a look at that on composite. NYA, New York composite. Yeah, I'll check it out. If it's relevant to our other charts, I always bring in other things. I'll look at that. You in the lead video. Well, yeah, you is bullish. It's breaking out, but again, you have to wait for the 3-wave pullback. And I don't chase it. So yeah, if it pulls back in 3 waves, it's definitely a buy unity. We're just waiting for that 3-wave pullback. But as a long-term buyer, you just hold it, right? So GSN, hi all, hi, amazing, thank you guys. To get the 5, I look at RSI divergence at the peak, as well as you don't want it to see it extend too far, because if it extends past the 1618, then it is not usually a 5. It's another 3. Humanoid robots will be a massive capex bonanza, I think, for whoever can bring that to market. They're gonna if Tesla can prove to make these things happen, and again, everyone that bets against Tesla has always failed. I remember back when they can't get the Model X out and all that shell, they'll never make they always pull it out, right? So they can't make the Cybertruck. Well, they figured out how to make it. So the same thing, the robots seem like a crazy idea, but I'm sure he will push those things out. And once people see him working somewhere, people are going to go crazy, and he will make a lot of money. But I don't know. What you got to be careful is, does Tesla, the corporation, get the benefit, or is this another one of his little startups that that people are buying Tesla thinking, oh, I'm going to make money, but it has nothing to do with Tesla, the corporation, that he'll have to adopt in through shareholder changes, based on the corporate structure, and bring in his subsidiary, right? No, a lot of people Neuro Inc. and all this. Well, shit, Neuro Inc. isn't Tesla. If he's Tesla is a car company, right? All these other crazy, great ideas is just his subsidiaries, and Tesla shareholders don't get to make money from that unless it's incorporated into the corporate structure. So you gotta be careful too about these robots and SpaceX and all that shit, because it's all great, but Tesla is just Tesla. And I don't know for sure if the humanoid robots is a subsidiary, another independent company that he has started up that is not included in Tesla, or it is. You need to check that. If it is not, then I'd be really careful FOMOing into the stock, because one of his subsidiaries could do really well. But there's no guarantee that he will bring that into the shareholders, because he probably will want bigger pay and more money and all this other shit, and they may not give it to him, and you never know. So anyway, but I think Tesla, I think the humanoid robot thing is a huge thing that's coming, but it's going to be, I would assume, massive unemployment. And I don't know what that's going to mean for the rest of the economy when you have all these people unemployed and no one can buy the stuff the robots make, right? And they're like, universal income will come. Well, I don't know if the government can afford that given the debt level, so I wouldn't count on universal income. So I think the whole system may not function the way we see it in the future. And when you have people unemployed, hungry, no work, everything's expensive as hell because they printed too much money and interest rates are too high and the government's in debt, guess what they do? They revolt and the system collapses. Throughout history, you see civil war, you see governments fail because of inflation, brings down governments and countries and nations. They can't have it both ways. So if you get all these unemployed people, no one will buy their shit. They'll just have all these people with nothing to do. And that's why I joke around, they're just going to go burn down the factories with the robots and get rid of it. So companies they cannot just be building robots and just we'll figure it out later. That needs to be figured out now, or the whole system is going to collapse on itself, I think. And then God knows what the output of that will look like. And then the world will, I guess that will be a way to figure it out. Are you thinking major bottom in oil by fall? I think it could be sooner than that, honestly. If oil is going to pull down in this bearish move, and again, it's still open to debate, but if this is going to happen, I'm thinking this is happening in June. Maybe into July at the latest. So I'm not thinking, I think it will be over sooner than we think if it's going to happen. So, and I'm just going through it. They were a $4 million company. They got a private placement so they put on some crypto. Is that right? Oh, we'll keep an eye on it then. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe we should all start our own crypto stock. Everybody's doing what MicroStrategy's been trying to do. All right. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for our live stream today. Thanks again for joining. I appreciate it. I think for the overall market right now, we have a big decision to make on the indexes. Are we going to get a 4 and a 5 and then call this a low? And again, after a 5, get a big pullback? Still get a big pullback, so June could still be ugly, no matter what happens. I mean, or there is no 5. There is no 5, and the unthinkable happens, and we come all the way back down, and break these lows, and all hell will break loose. And again, this will be a catastrophe for the retail trader and for a lot of internet influencers, because like I said, a lot of people, we're very overconfident in about lows being in, and I'm telling you, don't be so. These can still break. It is not a slam dunk yet that this low is good. Just be very careful in this market right now. It is not a slam dunk. We need a 4. You need really in tech. You need tech to make a 4 and a 5 before you can get more aggressive in the indexes. Until then, it's a really dangerous market still. I know people don't see it that way, but when fear comes in and selling comes in, the market can move rapidly to the downside. You could lose all these gains in one trading day, and then in 2 trading days be at these lows. It can happen that fast. That's how quick when fear comes in on a wave 3. So it isn't going to take, it can happen way before you realize what happened. So just understand that. I think the big warning sign level would be breaking this 559 level, 560 level. I think if that breaks, I think you're starting to I'm starting to think, it's probably not a 4 anymore, okay? Then you better stand at attention, and you better understand what you have your long positions in. But again, we don't know for sure. It could still be a 4. We could still get this little dip in the Qs and get one more high next week. And then June, back half of June, maybe early July, big sell-off, but that will be a buying opportunity. And that will give us a big gains for the rest of the summer if that transpires. So we'll see. We'll know soon enough. Like I said, got mixed messages a little bit out there, but I would be scared. Bearish, VIX is bearish because it looks like it could go higher. The yen looks like it could push lower, strengthen. That's bearish. The interest rates also look like it wants to go higher, bearish. So the bear case is very clear. Higher rates, strong yen, weak dollar, and that would be, and then higher VIX, and then obviously lower oil, recession. So I don't know. That's the bearish form. That's the formula for the crash, to break the April lows. The formula for the bullish breakout to new highs will be China pulls something out of their sleeves. Either Trump makes nice with China, happy talk, it overwhelms the retail community and they just can't help themselves and buy, or China unleashes a global stimulus that is biblical, biblical stimulus that breaks us out. That would be what the bulls need to get this going. If not, this will likely still continue to melt down a little bit. I'm thinking it would be highly unusual to see China break out in U.S. indices sell off, but anything's possible, I guess. But anyway, that's the bull case, I think. And then of course oil breaking out here would be bullish for the energy sector, which would help emerging markets. That would help like your Brazils and everybody else, right? Your emerging market trade. Copper breaking out, a 5 would help your emerging markets and help your Australian market, right? That depends on the miners. So we're watching these key levels, but right now we don't have clarity. So it's a lot of sidelines. But as the charts hit our area, we don't do nothing for 4 months, right? We do trade the market, so we trade and see what happens. All right, guys, good luck, and that's all I've got. Talk to you.